Cundall, C3.
I think the idea was that we wanted to create a business which was less hierarchical than practices that we'd all worked for in the past. And we thought that was a way of being able to involve and motivate staff and so on if we set up a structure like that. And I think that's how we started. A bit hypocritical, really, if we'd started the business on the basis of wanting to be less hierarchical and include a sort of hierarchy in the partnership deed. It would have been awful. And of course, in those days, limited liability partnerships didn't exist. So I think partners realised that if we're going to be jointly and severally liable for any debts or any liabilities at all, then sharing them equally is probably a good idea. I mean, I think one of the difficulties, of course, when you start a business is that you have to do everything yourself. You know, you're doing the engineering, you're doing the recruitment, you're doing the marketing. We're doing fire engineering, we're doing simple fire engineering, and we were doing acoustics, everything. Just so it's quite demanding. But the partnership agreement was written so that you had to commit full time to this. But it was a lot of fun as well, and it was quite exciting, I think. My measure of excellence is really doing jobs well, where clients are satisfied at the end of the day, and you haven't got, complaints going on and on and on about inadequacies, and where you've maintained your relationships and enhanced your relationships with all the other members of who are involved in the procurement, from architects, quantity surveyors, everyone who's part of the team, and including the contractors involved, so that this is a form of marketing, really. These people were, I think the term you would use now is they were influencers. They were people who would help you get jobs. If people might, if they were considering you, they might ask people in the industry around about, are these people any good? Well, we wanted to establish that sort of reputation, so you have to work at it, and I think we were reasonably sort of ambitious. We wanted the business to grow. I think it was around about 1980 and late 70s. There was a sort of an oil crisis, a supply crisis, and so everyone was interested in saving energy, because energy had a cost, and if there's a shortage of supply, oil prices go up and so on, gas prices go up. So there was a big drive to reduce energy consumption. So we did lots of those energy surveys, explaining to people how they could save energy, what insulation they should add, and how they could do it, and so on. And I suppose that we ended up doing the low energy hospital study, the second low energy hospital study, where the brief was to reduce energy consumption by a half, which is quite difficult. And we looked at doing various things, including putting in a wind turbine generate electricity, because the site that was being considered was quite exposed, had a sort of bit of high ground near it. Looked at all sorts of other options, such as incinerating waste and recovering heat, but that was not proceeded with in the actual final design because of potential pollution problems. Hospital waste contains quite a lot of plastic, so it would have been problematic without sort of scrubbing the effluent from the chimneys. Following on from that, the people that we've been working with in relation to that asked us to do a energy and environmental brief for a hospital in Coleraine, which we did, which was quite interesting. So that covered things like embodied energy in components, equipment, and so on. The important thing is to invest in your staff and their development, really, because things are going to change. I think as you have mentioned, these environmental issues are going to become more and more pressing. So you need people who are going to be able to respond to this. Not, it's going to be different from as it was 50 years ago. I think the foundations were right when it was started. I think that's proved to be the case. It's what we hoped would be the case.